Bible time! Hello everyone, and welcome to this very special episode of Bible Time, where you don't know what time is it? It's time for the Bible. Before we begin, the chosen. See Jesus through the eyes of those he touched. Trinity Fellowship. Jesus, 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 Jesus. Jesus, 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 Jesus. What does it mean to be chosen? Read it and find out. Today we're going to be going over John 6, where we eat God and drink Him. John 6, Jesus, the bread of life. When they found Him on the other side of the lake, they asked Him, "Rabbi, when did you get here?" Jesus answered, "I tell you the truth. You are looking for me, not because you saw miraculous signs, but because you ate the loaves and you had your fill. Do not work for food that spoils, but for food that endures for eternal life, which the Son of Man Sorry, I lost my place. Do not work for food, but which the Son of Man will give to you. On Him God the Father has placed His seal of approval." Then they ask Him, "What must we do to do the works God requires?" Jesus answered, "The work of God is to believe in Him who is the one that He sent." So they ask Him, "What miraculous sign then will you give to us so that we may believe you? What will you do? Our forefathers ate the manna in the desert, as is written. He gave them bread from heaven to eat." And Jesus said to them, "I will tell you the truth. It is not Moses who has given you the bread from heaven, but it is my Father who gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is He who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world." "Sir," they said, "from now on give us this bread." Am I right? And then Jesus declared, "I am the bread of life. He who comes to me will never go hungry, and he who believes in me will never be thirsty. But as I told you, you have seen me, and you still don't believe. All the Father gives to me will come to me, and whoever comes to me, I will never drive away. For I have come down from heaven, not to do the will, but to do the will of Him who sent me. And this is the will of Him who sent me. For I shall lose none of all that He has given me, but raise them up on the last day. For my Father's will is that everyone who looks to the Son and believes in him shall have eternal life, and I will raise him up on the last day. Satan! Satan! At this the Jews began to grumble about him and said to him, I am the bread that came down from heaven. They said, this is not Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother... Listen, at the time the Jews began to grumble about him because he said, I am the bread that came down from heaven. Wow. Wow. What? Okay. How does that make sense? They said, is this not Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How can he say, I came down from heaven? Stop grumbling among yourselves. Jesus answered, no one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and will raise him up on the last day. It is written in the prophets, they will all be taught by God. Everyone who listens to the Father and learns from him comes to me. No one has seen the Father except the one who is from God. Only he has seen the Father. I tell you the truth, he who believes has everlasting life. I am the bread of life. Your forefathers ate the manna in the desert, and yet they died. But here is the bread that comes down from heaven, which a man may eat and not die. I am the living bread that came down from heaven. If anyone eats this bread, he will live forever. This bread is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world. Then the Jews began to argue sharply among themselves. How can this man give us his flesh to eat? Good question. Jesus says to them, I will tell you the truth, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Whew. What? Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life, and I will raise him up on the last day. For my flesh is real food, and my blood is real drink. Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood remains in me, and I in him, just as the living Father sent me, and I live because of the Father. So the one who feeds on me, so the one who feeds on me will live because of me. This is the bread that came down. This is the bread that came down from heaven. Your forefathers ate manna and died, but he who feeds on this bread will live forever. He said this while teaching in the synagogue in Capernaum. Many disciples desert Jesus. On hearing it, many of his disciples said, "This is a hard teaching. Who can accept it?" Aware that his disciples were grumbling about this, Jesus said to them, "Does this offend you? What if you see the Son of Man ascending to where he was before? The Spirit gives life, and the flesh counts for nothing. The words I have spoken to you are spirit, and they are life. Yet there is some of you who do not believe." For Jesus had known from the beginning which of them did not believe and who would betray him. He went on to say, This is why I told you that no one can come to me unless the Father has enabled them. From this time, many of the disciples turned back, and no longer followed him. You don't want to leave too, do you? Jesus asked the 12. Simon Peter answered him, Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life. We believe and know that you are the Holy One of God. Then Jesus replied, have I not chosen you, the 12? Yet one of you is a devil! He meant Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot, who, though one of the 12, later was to betray him. On the next episode of Bible Time, we're gonna start in John 7, where Jesus goes to the festival, goes to the Feast of Tabernacles, and that's where we're gonna pick up next time, right? So, so let's talk about what we read. Let's talk about that. Now, let's talk about that. What are you doing?